Okay, it's April the 15th, 6:15 p.m. and there's a cluster in a tree. As you can see, there's nothing around the tree. Another house, another street light, another lamp post, no person with a flashlight, and this cluster is active. Apparently it's at high frequency. Just want to center it so you can get at it. Okay, what happened before, I was shooting with my other camera and this thing just went wild, and was actually projecting itself all the way over here in broad daylight. Now look at that energy state. It's still daylight. Imagine how much this glows at night if it's doing this now. And look at all those little orbs in the air all around it. They're part of the larger cluster. That's what I'm talking about. And that cluster there is a hexahedron. That's a hexahedron cluster. It's at a high frequency rate and a high activity state. And all those orbs around it make up the greater cluster. And you can see the force field around the energy field, I should say, around the white nucleus, which is glowing. So now you can get a good look at it. It's daylight. Trying to just get the whole thing in the picture. A little bit more down. It's hard to get the image is perfect. Anyway, here it is. And you can see the energy field. You can see the nucleus, which is glowing white. You can see the energy field, which is yellow around the white nucleus, and then the secondary energy field around the whole thing, which is red. And you could see rays coming off of it on all 6 points. And those rays are emitting energy from the nucleus out to the greater cluster, the organisms that you see milling around all around, the little orbs that are all around that cluster. They make up a greater cluster which covers that entire area. And by that entire area, I mean that entire area. Everything you see there, including where I am. So that's what I'm talking about. The area is full of those things. Now there's more than one cluster like that, and pretty soon all the woods are going to be full of them. I'm just going to back off to show the other one. The other one's over here. That one went crazy before too. Actually, that's the one that went crazy before. The one with the little orbs right on the side. Now with the other camera, that's about, I couldn't even get that close. It came to me because it projected itself through that mass of orbs that you see all around it. It projected itself all the way over here because it's using them as a medium. Now you can see that's also a hexahedron. Let me just loosen this up. I gotta back up to show it. You can see that's also a hexahedron with a nucleus that's glowing, a yellow energy field around the nucleus, and a red energy field around the whole thing. And it has beams shooting out, not just 4 like an X, but it has actually beams on all 6 sides of the hexahedron. And that one is feeding energy off to the rest of the greater cluster, which is part of the other hexahedron cluster as well. So there's 2 nucleus points right now feeding on all the energy to all the organisms in the area. And I mean those little orbs that are all over the screen, and they're not pixels. Now those 2 clusters or 3 clusters on the bottom, they're supporting this cluster in particular, and they're supporting, I call them supporting clusters because they help create energy for the entire biomass that's in the air. And the way they do that energy creating, let me just get them in the picture. The way they do the energy creating is by having orbs. I gotta back up a little bit. Having orbs shot from the larger hexahedron there to them and back. And you can maybe see the orbs teleporting there. I gotta hold the camera because I don't seem to be able to get it just in the right place. I don't know why it won't stay. Hold on a minute. I gotta get it in the right place. Okay. Sorry about all the movement. Sometimes it's tough to get it just right. Okay. You see how fast the orbs are going counterclockwise in those. There's 3 clusters there. The 3 orb clusters. And they're shooting orbs that are on the outside of those 3 clusters faster and faster till they speed up the entire biomass around that hexahedron. And the hexahedron is providing the energy for all those orbs around it, including those 3 little clusters on the bottom to its right. And every now and then you'll see the white orbs just shoot out. You can see them shooting out now. They're going so fast that they're hard to see. It's hard to tell that that's what's happening, but that's what's happening. They're teleporting the orbs faster and faster, and the orbs are coming in and going out faster. So as they come in, they get shot out faster than they came in. And the hexahedron is providing the energy for all that activity. And so is the other one I was just filming before. So that's what's happening. And you can see the energy field. You can see that whole energy field. You can see the fluctuations. And this is daylight. You're starting to activate sooner and sooner. Before it used to be only when it was dark out, but now there's so many, look how many organisms are in the air. And that's not pixels. That's orb clusters. Okay, it's moving very fast. That is not pixels. And it's not pixelation. Whoever says that is a fool. These are orb clusters. And look at that whole area where you see what it looks like fog. It's all them. And look how many of them. That whole area is them. And they stretch all the way from there to here, which is this far. Okay? That's how far that is. You see the fog on top of those trees? It's not a fog, it's them. Now the reason they can't mess with this camera is because I have it plugged in. It's not on just batteries. I'm working it off electricity. So they're unable to draw the power enough to mess with the focus or turn it off. They just don't have the power, not yet. But later on tonight they will. And they'll be able to turn off the camera. Even this one, even though it's plugged in and all. Either that or they'll melt the battery right in it. Like they blew up my other camera. So these things are for real and they're here to stay. And anyone who thinks different is making a big error. Look at those little ones. Watch them teleport those orbs. And look how fast they're doing the spinning around. And I get faster and faster and faster. What? You see that? There they go. But they're doing that all the time. It's just when they get real hot, that's when you see them. But they're actually teleporting them every millionth of a second, maybe a thousand of them, every millionth of a second, because that's how many of them are in the air. Okay, there it is. And that's 3 different clusters doing that. And what they're doing is supporting the work of that hexahedron cluster. And these are not, you know, entities from this planet. This is an intelligent operation, and everything is planned out. And they behave like insects, but they're really smart. The level of intelligence is supreme and superb. How they do things, it's just too much. It's just an alien life form, and this is broad daylight. Now you can you know, see the whole thing. Look, that's the top of the hexahedron. You can see the force field around, the energy field there, the red part. There's another force field which is yellow, and then there's the nucleus, which is hot white. And this is some kind of cold fusion. And these things are eating everything in sight. They're eating the trees, the birds, the fish, small animals, all kinds of things. You know, like, I don't see them stopping at anything, because all this activity requires a whole lot of energy. It doesn't come for free. It costs energy, and they'll get it from any source they can. Any living source or non-living source, whichever way they can get it, they'll get it, because they're smart enough to get it. And I'm glad to be able to show this in daytime, because if I didn't show it in daytime, everybody thinks you know, I'm making this up. But here it is, broad daylight, and you can see the operation. And there it is on top of trees. That's not a street light, it's not a lamppost, it's nobody with a flashlight, and it's not a sun reflection, because there's no sun out. Okay, so basically speaking, these are aliens, and you better get that to your head and wake up, because they're here, and they're taking what they want. And they're taking what they want away from us. The more they take, the less we're going to have. So it's time to do something about that. I would strongly recommend we do something about that. Because to let this go on is not going to be good for us. It'll be devastating. Not just for us, but for our planet. Because these things, I don't think, care too much about us or our planet. Look at them all in the air. This is daylight. That's not pixels. It's them. And there's a whole lot of them. The atmosphere, every source of water on this planet, the oceans, the rivers, the lakes, everything, is full of them. All the landforms, all the forests, the entire atmosphere, from here all the way to space, and in space there's even more of them. The moon hologram is made up of them. This is what makes up the moon hologram. You're looking at it. And I don't know how many are in that, but that's their ship. It's not the moon, it's their ship, and it's huge, and it's strictly composed of these organisms. It's not made out of metal or anything else. It's not a rock. It's a biomass, like I said. So that's now that you've had a good look of how the hexahedron operates in connection and with the help of those supporting clusters on the side, bottom right. I'm gonna just go to the other one, which is in another tree. I'll have to loosen the camera. Okay, there's that one over there. Let me just get it in the middle so I don't move the camera too much. I missed it. I gotta move the camera. Okay. Now this one doesn't have any supporting clusters because it only takes one with those supporting clusters to speed up all of those orbs. And eventually you'd be able to see all those orbs around that hexahedron going faster and faster and faster, because both hexahedrons are also giving off energy on 6 points and feeding energy to the orbs in the greater cluster which go around the orbs orbiting around that hexahedron nucleus. And as they get more energy, they get faster. As they get faster, the hexahedron glows brighter. It'll change color, and then it'll move off. It'll go up in the sky and pretend it's a star. Because all of these organisms will join the hexahedron, it'll just get larger, 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 and larger. And as it goes up towards the sky, it'll pick up all the other organisms that are in the air up in the atmosphere. And by the time it gets, 10 miles up, it's going to look like a star. And, that's what they do. They pretend they're stars in stars constellations. And the rest of them we can't see because they move too fast. But at least now you can see the operation, and you can see the force field. And you can see it's up in a tree, nothing around it. Nothing at all around it. I'll back up to show that. There's absolutely nothing around it. That one's up in the tree. Way up in the tree. There's a house over to the left. Look how small that looks next to that tree. And look how high up that is. And that's no lamppost, and it's not a street light. And nobody climbed up the tree with a flashlight to make this up. Okay, that's an alien right there. An alien mass, I should say. An alien hexahedron cluster composed of many aliens. I don't know how many, but there's billions right around it. And I don't know how many are in the nucleus. Okay, I'm going to go back to the other one while it's still daytime. I'll raise it up a little bit. When I get a look at those smaller orbs. I get it just right to see these in operation. Boy, I don't know why it wants to stay. Okay, finally. It's hard to get this thing in place when it's on such high zoom, but I wanted to show how fast those clusters are spinning those orbs around them. Okay, you can see the speed. So their job is to speed up the orbs, and the large hexahedrons, they provide the energy. Okay, and that's the deal. And you can see that that one's all by itself on top of a tree. There's nothing around it. Absolutely nothing. Like, absolutely nothing. Check out how fast those orbs are spinning. And what they're doing is spinning all the orbs. Those are the ones that aren't glowing. They're spinning them faster and faster. It's like one huge ball. Think of sardines in the ocean as they spin in a ball. That's what these things are doing. Just think of sardines and them spinning real fast into a real tight ball. So that's what's happening here. But I don't mean just the little clusters, I mean the whole hexahedron, that whole area. There's a lot of orbs in that whole area. So what's going on is like that whole area. That whole area is being spun around into a ball, tighter and tighter, until it's a real tight mass at high velocity and a high frequency vibration. See how fast that was? That's an insect. That's that black insect I keep talking about. And see how fast that went? That was a long distance it traveled. It traveled right across a couple of tufts of trees in no time at all. But just look at that energy field. This one really shows it well. See that energy field? And look at the orbs spinning around that in that red zone. Just look at the orbs spinning around that. They're going around the nucleus, which is the white part, the white hot part. And then look at the ones on the bottom, what they're doing. The way they're spinning the orbs around. They spin them around and shoot them out. They spin them around and shoot them out. Every now and then you'll see them glowing, and you'll notice how they teleport. And that's called teleportation. And the reason it's called teleportation is because you can't see them going from one spot to the next. They just seem to appear. The only reason why you can see them in a straight line as orbs is because there's so many of them. But you'd never see just one. It just moves too fast. There's millions of them going past, very fast, so you see a few. But if there is just one, you'd never see it. It just goes too fast. And that's not pixelation. I was going to go over here and find that other one. I got to back off to see where it was. It's over here. Okay, that's another one in a tree. And that's also in a a very high active state and high vibrations frequency state. You could see the red zone there, the energy field, and you can see the yellow energy zone, and you can see the nucleus, which is white hot. And you can also see the 6 points of the hexahedron shooting off energy, and that's the whole purpose of the hexahedron, is to feed the energy to the greater cluster, which is all those orbs you see moving around that are not glowing and they're not pixels. So this is an alien life form, and it's right here on our own planet. Not only are they on the moon hologram, they're all over this planet. And I'm talking about planet Earth, in case you were not aware. Okay, so that's aliens right there. Okay, watch. Just right on the top of a tree, doing all that, and the rest are in the atmosphere and on the ground and in the water and everywhere else. Okay, so now you've seen the operation of a hexahedron cluster in broad daylight. Okay? Thank you for viewing. This is Super Much Mouse. Take care.